welcome to my channel. My name's Dawn, I'm the Reclusive Crafter, and today is No Waste Wednesday. And what I thought I'd do for the next few No Waste Wednesdays is go back to grassroots. I am in the process, and I say that loosely, with putting together an ideas book. I know a lot of crafters do have ideas books, and it's always been my intention to have one. But unfortunately, as with everything, I do what I do, I put it to one side and I move on to the next thing. And I never think to capture what I've done for my own benefit and for my own reference points. So I have got literally, and when I say a couple of bits, I have got a couple of bits in here. And it really is a couple of bits. So what I thought I would do for the next few sessions or so on No Waste Wednesday is to start using up my scrappy bits to put together an ideas book. And when I say going back to grassroots, I'm literally going to work my way through the journals that I've completed up till now. And bearing in mind, I've only really been properly journaling for the last year. And this was my very first what I would classify as a proper journal that I did. And I'm going to look at what I've done over the last year and collate it into my ideas books. And I'm going to start with this one first of all, because this has got the Medora style in it. So if I want to add in other pages, I can do without any problems. And yeah, that's what I'm going to start with today. So I hope you'll join me. I'm not quite sure where this is going to lead, but we shall see. So I'm going to make a start. So as we open this up, there is a full video walkthrough of this, by the way. If you want to go and have a look at it, I'll link it in the video at the end, so that if you want to have a look at it sort of all the way through, you can. This one is actually quite a chunky one. It was 3 signatures, and I did this as a sort of a nod and tribute to my mother-in-law, and obviously other mums too. So as we open this up, on the first page here, I have got a thicker pocket, which I put in this little recipe book. And it's, as you can see, it's quite a chunky little recipe book, but it's very old. And I wanted something to be able to keep that in to take care of it. And I used this pocket to do that. So I am going to make a pocket similar to this. Not exactly the same, because I don't really know at the moment what I'm going to be putting into it. But like I say, just as an ideas journal, I just want somewhere to start, and starting at the beginning just seems to be a good way to go. So that's what I'm going to do on there. What I've also got to hand is, let me just show you what I've got. I've got these envelopes here, little plastic envelopes, and these are just full of bits and pieces, overprints and things that I've done when making other journals effectively. So you might see in here, as you can see here, I've got bits of the Asian Splendor journal that I did, and then in this one I think I've got the Georgian Romance cut-offs. In this one I've got the most recent Romantique cut-offs and pages that I haven't used. So I've got lots and lots of bits and pieces lying around. Additionally, I have also got, let me grab it, this little monster of a box here. Now this little monster of a box is that big, so it's, how deep is that? So it's 5 inches deep at least, and then obviously it's a good A4 size in depth as well. And that's, as you can see, full to over brimming of bits and pieces, cut-offs and all sorts of things that I've used in journals. And I think I just saw some of the, yeah, look, see, bits and pieces of journals and things. That was from the Recipe Keeper journal that I've just shown you. So lots and lots and lots of bits that I can make use of while we're working through this little project. So I hope you'll join me, and I hope you're all well. I would like to say a very warm welcome to all my new subscribers, and big hugs and loves to all my existing subscribers. Lovely to have you here. The channel is growing slowly but surely, which is always nice. I'm just looking for some pages at the moment to be able to do the little pocket that I've just shown you. I'm not sure I've really got anything in here that cuts the mustard, to be honest with you. Look at all these fussy cuts, look, that I didn't use. I'm so naughty, honestly. Look at all those fussy cuts I never used. Aren't they beautiful? I did use them, it's just that I printed so many of them out I didn't use these particular ones, so there we go. But I'm hoping that by doing this kind of project that I'm now about to embark on, that we can start using up some bits and pieces. Right, there is nothing in there that will suit for the pocket I'm looking to do, so let's have a look and see what we've got in here. Let's have a look-see, eh? Look-see, 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 look-see do. I'm looking for something that's printed on a slightly heavier paper. There we go. That is perfect. Now you see, I've got that. I printed it off and I've never used it because, again, I've printed so many pages off. I never quite know why I do, to be honest with you, but I do. So there we go. So I'm going to start by cutting the first. What size was this one? So this one was 7 inches long. So if I actually leave that at 8, then it will give me scoring space around the edge. So let's make a start. And the first thing I'm gonna do is just trim off these edges, which I don't need. So I'm gonna trim these off. And I printed this before I realised that my printer will actually print without the white border, which was an amazing find. I've only had my printer well over a year, to be honest with you. And I've only recently realised it will actually print without this little white border around it. So sometimes it has to have the little white border. It depends what you're actually printing. But mostly you can get away without needing the white border on it, which is very nice indeed. Thank you very kindly, sir. So let me take that, let me take that off of there. Now then, I don't actually need it quite as deep as, where are we? I don't need it quite as deep as that. I'm going to take it down to 7.5, I think. So I should take a bit off the top and go to 7.5. And I think that will be big enough. So there's 7.5. Actually, I've just had a thought. I could have done that a little bit better, to be honest with you, but it doesn't really matter none. And then the width of this one, I'm just going to measure it. It's about 5 inches, so I'm going to take it to 6 inches wide. And I'm going to use this section here. So 6 inches wide. And I've just realised I don't know where my scoring tool is. Interesting. Let me find my alternative that I use when I can't find it, because it's quite frequently I can't find it, to be honest with you. So let's use this one instead. Okay. So I think the first thing I'm going to do, you see, so this one, this let me go back to here so you can see what I'm doing of. So this little pocket here is just very simple. It's literally just whatever size you want your pocket to be, with an extra 1/2 inch either side. I have added a little bit on top as well, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this top over to make that top piece a little bit more sturdy. And this is the thing when you're crafting, you learn as you go along. Whilst that's okay, eventually over time, if you're putting things in and out, this will become worn very quickly. So what I'm also going to do, and I wish now I hadn't cut that last little bit off because I could have folded that over, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to fold this down and make that a double thickness to give that a little bit more rigidity. So I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. So we're going to score at 1/2 inch, and I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. There we go. And 1/2 inch. And then because this was a thicker pocket, I am also going to score it slightly in as well. So I'm also going to score it at what am I also going to score it at? 1, 2, 3, 3/8 of an inch as well to give it a double score. So 3/8 of an inch I'm going to score it as well. So I've got a double score all round. Where are we? There. It's literally 1 notch under the 1/2 inch. There. And there. And like I say, you know, as you are crafting, you will pick up little bits and pieces as you go along to improve on what you see and what you do yourself. And then on the top, I'm just going to give that a little 1/2 inch score and fold that section over. And then we're going to do some cutting. Right then, so that's that little bit done. Right, where you've got the score lines here, hopefully you can see that. I'm going to take that across on the furthest score line. In fact, let me just ink these score lines so that you can see them a little bit better, so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Because the point of these particular videos I'm doing is not only to show you how to use up your bits and pieces, but to also show those of you that are relatively new to journaling how to go about things. So I am literally, let me get my little bony folder as well. These are actually being bent at the moment, or being folded the wrong way, but I'm just doing this for purposes of showing you exactly how to get that little bit of depth on your projects, on your, what are these, pockets? That was the word I was looking for, not projects at all. There we go. Okay, I'll just do these ones. Nearly there, folks. Just makes it easier for you if you can actually see what I'm referring to. So if we just ink these little score lines, make it a little bit easier. There we go. Okay, so score lines are now inked so that you can see what I'm doing. All right, and all I'm doing now is I'm taking the corners off on the bottom, what is the bottom of the pocket. I'm taking the score lines off to the inner score. And this one, I'm just cutting the corners away just to miter those edges. All right, now what I'm also going to do is miter this edge as well. But what I want to do first is to fold that down, and I'm going to glue that in place. So I'm going to glue this edge in place first. Got a nice little squidgy bit of glue there, look. Let me just take that off, because I don't want as much as that on there for sure. Let me get these bits out of the way. I'm trying to tidy up as I go along as well. I'm trying to be really good in my new shiny space. There we go. Okay. Right, so what I'm now going to do, so that's going to be the top. And I just want to mitre that. Let me show you on this side. I just want to mitre it up to the inside. Do I? Let me just check on that before I go ahead and do it. Yeah, I'm not going to do a massive mitre. I'm just going to do a very, very shallow, so that when that folds in and you're looking at it, you can't see that corner there. And that's all I'm doing on that corner. Okay. So we'll do that again here, just a very shallow mitre there, just up to that inside score line, and we're going to get rid of those bits there. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to put in, if I can find my holy punch, I'm going to put in a thumb notch, and because now this is double folded, it will be a lot more sturdy. And I'm going to sort of eyeball that midway-ish. So about there, maybe it'll do. Pop, there we go. All right. And then I'm going to ink that down just so that you can see it. There we go. All right. And now I'm going to fold these in the right way. All right. And again, just give that a second going over. Let me just get those bits out of the way. Give that a second going over, and just give the bit where there's a double layer, just give it an extra little scooch down. Really burnish it in so that it sits nicely on your page. Okay. There we go. Now then, ordinarily when you do these flaps, if it's just straight onto the page and it doesn't need to be a thick one, a 1/4 inch or just about a centimetre is absolutely fine. Just flap over like that. But because obviously I wanted to put the extra gusset in, I allowed that little bit of extra space for the 1/2 inch. There we go. Now hopefully you can see there that you've now got just a little bit of depth there. So if you're going to be putting in something that's quite chunky, for instance, try and get the measure of the depth of whatever it is you're putting in, and allow the gusset to allow for that thickness. I'm just looking around and seeing what I've got, but I can give you an example. I've got my little haberdashery kit here. So here, for instance, in my little haberdashery kit that I made from Scrimping Mummy's haberdashery freebie, if I was to measure this, if I find my small ruler, all right, without squashing it down, because we want to allow enough room, if I wanted to put that inside a journal, I would probably need to allow a gusset of, you could actually get away with maybe 3/8 of an inch. You could even go to a centimetre. So your gusset would be about that size. So you do maybe a centimetre gusset or even a 1/2 inch gusset. Like I say, just depending on what it is that you're putting in. You don't want the item to be too loose in the pocket, but by the same token, you know, you need to allow enough room for it to go in without it looking bulged. So I hope that makes sense. All right. And what I'm now going to do with this is pop it into my ideas journal, and I'm not going to faff around looking for pages to use or anything else. It's an ideas journal. I am going through my bits and pieces, and I'm going through my journals, and I'm just adding these in as I go along. Now what I'm also going to do is written instructions on these so that I can when I come back to that, I mean, this is the most simplest pocket in the world, but there are things that are a little bit more in depth and a little bit more tricky. And if you've got something written down, it'll help you to look at it and refer back to it to know exactly what you're doing with it. Okay, and then that I'm just going to pop just into the center of the page. Going to just tuck in the little gusset like that. And I've not straightened that very well, but just as well it's only an ideas journal. There we go. All right, so now I've got a little pocket. I say a little pocket, it's actually quite a big pocket. I've got a pocket there that's gusseted that will allow now for something a little bit chunkier than a tag to be popped into it. And if I just show you that, hopefully, let me just check that you can see that okay. Yeah, so as you can see there, you've got your little pocket there, which allows for a little bit more space than you would ordinarily need for a tag. So there is my first piece put in for my ideas book. Okay, I'm going to do written instructions for that, and I'm going to find something eventually that will slot into that so that we know what it's used for. And we're going to move on to the next item. If there is anything that you've seen me do, by the way, that you'd like to see me do again when I'm doing these sessions, drop a comment in the comments section and I will make that particular thing a priority, so that you don't have to wait. There we go. I've got something in my ideas book. Yay me. All right, so if we now move on to the next page, what have we got here? This is the simplest little pocket in the world that you can do. It's just a little corner pocket with a little bit mitered off. These can be done with any form of scraps. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And for that, I'm actually going to use this piece. Why wouldn't I? It's going to waste otherwise. All right, and all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut this where I think I want it. So I'm literally going to, I think I'll cut that there. That'll give me a bit there to use for mosaics and things like that. I am going to cut this down a little bit because it's a little bit taller than I would want it. So let's see, let's go to 5 inches, which I think is a nice size for pocket. Again, I've got another little bit there I can use for something else. And then just because of the design on here, rather than cut it across, let me show you, rather than cut it across that way, I'm going to cut mine down that way and I'm going to put it on the other page, because I just feel if I cut that across there, I'm going to be cutting off my cups and I don't want to do that. And then I am going to, again, you can make these trims as big or as small as you want to. I'm going to take that off there. Okay, pocket, simple pimple. Okay, it really couldn't be any simpler. Let me just throw a little bit of ink round just because I happen to like it. It doesn't make any odds because, like I say, this is only my ideas journal, so it doesn't really make any odds, but at least you can see the edges. I'm going to pull my book over again, and now I'm going to pop that one in. So if I find another page to pop that in, I'm going to pop it on there, and that's just going to sit in there, and that'll be a little tuck there. Okay, so I'm going to pop that one in. So that's numero 2 done. I'm not even sure this one needs any explanation because it's as simple as they come. Oh, has my glue decided to block up on me? How unusual. Let me unblock that. There we go. Oh, get off me. It's all sticking to me. Alrighty, let's just finish gluing. Oh, it doesn't want to glue. Come on. Oh, We've got a blockage in aisle 3. Come on. Did that do it? Did that do it? Yeah, it did. There we go. Okay, now for these pockets as well, I will just explain. You can either leave them open to allow for it to be a tuck spot, or you can glue up the third side for, ouch, I just stabbed myself, for it to be an actual pocket. I don't know why my glue's not playing, guys, but hey ho. Oh, goodness me, it doesn't want to play at all today. What is going on? Well, it doesn't feel blocked. It does not feel blocked at all. Might just be a little bit gloopy, I guess. Oh, there we go. I just got a big gloopy bit out. Got a loop. Let's see if that's done the job. Gonna have to re-glue the whole thing in a minute. It'll have dried up. Oh, there we go. Look, there was a gloopy bit in the way. Okay, so I've just done the 2 sides. I'm going to pop that on there, just allowing for a little bit of border around the edge, probably a bit more on the bottom than you would normally have, but I'm not complaining. There we go. And now that is, let me show you, that now is a nice little tuck spot. So you can either just put a tag in that, or you could put a much larger, and I've got one here, here's one I prepared earlier. You could put a much larger journal card in there if you wanted to. So by not gluing down that section there, it gives you a lot more freedom as to what you can actually put behind that pocket. If you were to glue that down, then you're limited then to something that sort of width as a maximum. Okay, so that's just a little bit of a tip there as to when you're putting these together, just think about what it is that you want to put behind there, and if you're not sure what you want to put behind there, leave it open until you do know, and then it will give you that freedom to be able to put what you want to in there, or you know, just put a little slim tag in there as well if you want to. So yeah, just another little idea there for you to take away. Let me pop that on there. So that's idea number 2 done. So that's good. This is one that I'd already put in. This is just an open little piece, and this was just something again that was left from, oh, which one was this? This was Diary of a Lady that I did. Again, one of Scrimping Mummy's digitals, and this was just leftover that I did a little, I don't know what you'd call that. It's a little fold out peekaboo, I guess. Fold out peekaboo, that's what I'm going to call it. Yeah, that's very simple to do. If anybody wants to see how to make that, I'd be quite happy to do another little video on that one as well. Okay, so we've done 1 and 2. So we've done our gusset pocket, and we've done our basic starter pocket. There we go. What have we got here? So this one is a library card pocket. All right. And I'm going to have to try and remember how to do that one myself. So that one goes in there. So I'm going to find myself, I will make that the last one, because by the time I've done that, I think you may need to get on and do things in your life. I'm not sure what that would be, but I'm just going to find another page that I can use. I do like using a heavier weight paper for pockets, certainly no less than 120 GSM, and I'm really sorry if you're in the States, I don't know what that equates to. Is that a little bit heavier? No, it's not. Typical. Oh, here we go. No, I don't think I've got one in there that I can. No, that's all lighter weight papers in there. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to find something that, I think I looked through this one before for the first one, didn't I? I didn't find anything. Yes, I did. Let me go through my third pocket and see what we've got in here. Have I got something in here I can use? No, I don't. Do you know what? I actually don't think I have. Oh my goodness, I've got no. I wonder if I've got. Maybe I could. Is that big enough? That feels like it might be big enough. I've just got that out of my scrap box. How big does this need to be? So it needs to be. Let me pull it into view a little bit for you so that you can see. So it needs to be at least. Do you know, I actually can't remember how I did this. How did I do this? I thought I'd done it all as one piece, but I don't think I could have done, because that's actually 7.5 inches deep. Okay, so there's two ways that one could be done actually. I'm not going to have time to show you both ways, but I will show. Oh, that's 2 bits of paper there, so I'm not even going to show you with that anyway. Duh. So this is just this was just a piece of paper that I did some marbling ink with, which has come out really nice. So I don't mind using that because they're easy enough to do. Right then, so this one was 7.5 deep, and it is 3.25 wide, but then I want to allow the fold round. Okay. I'm not sure I can really remember how to do this, so I'm going to be flying by the seat of my panties on this, I'm afraid. And like I say, I will make this the last one because I think this is going to take us potentially over time, which isn't great for you guys. Let me pop that there out of the way. So that's 7.5 inches deep, which is where we need that to be. And then I said that was 3.25 wide, so I'm going to make that 3 and 5/8. In actual fact, I'm going to do it a little bit wider. We will go with 3.5, 3 3/4 to make life easier. I'm going to go to 3 3/4 to make life easier for you guys. 3 and 1 2 3/4. Yep, so that's 3 3/4 there. Okay, and then I want a smaller pocket on the front to be 4.5 deep and 3 3/4. Yeah, 3 3/4, 3 3/4. I'm not sure I'm doing this right, to be honest with you, but we'll see how it goes. 4 and 4.5. 4.5. And again, this is where the written instructions helps, because had I have done a written instruction sheet for that pocket, I wouldn't have any issues with it now. So in actual fact, that doesn't need to be that size. So 3 3/4. I'm going to cut that at 3 1/4 because the other one will go wrap around it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's that one. I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. I'm going to bring this down here so I can see where the 1/2 inch is. It's there. Oh, don't want to cut it. Okay, so I'm going to score that at 1/2 inch. Oh, that wasn't 1/2 inch, was it? Duh. Let's try that one again. Okay, so score that one at 1/2 inch. Score that one at 1/2 inch. And then score the third side at 1/2 inch. Okay. Oh. I will. I'm going to just do a tiny little score of 1/2 inch at the top as well. Just to, again, that's going to be my top edge, so that will give that one a little bit more stability on there. And then this is potentially just cutting it in a very similar way to the original pocket on the front. So we're just going to take off the mitered corners. Ooh, let's do that, Dawn. There we go. Okay, so that's those bits. Just going to remove these bits because I'm feeling cluttered. We don't want to be cluttered. Okay, let's just pop those there out of the way. So what we've got is those two little pieces there. We're going to fold over the edges, and I'm going to just take those little bits off again there, like so. And then I'm going to cut that there so that that's not quite so bulky as well. Just taking out some of the bulk there, which is fine. There we go. Okay, so that's our top, and we've got our two side bits. Ta-ta-da! Ta-ta-da! Hopefully. Oh, I've cut that too small. Well, how the dickens have I managed to do that? Well, that's no great shakes, because what I shall do now is I'll just cut this piece to marry up with it. Yeah, I must have cut that wrong. So 2 3/4. So I'm going to cut this at 2 3/4. So it'll be a slightly thinner one than the original, but I'm not going to quibble over it. It's not going to make a blinding bit of difference. It's only for the... If I was doing this for an actual journal and I wanted it specifically for something, I would actually redo that because I've cut that completely the wrong size. But because this is only an ideas journal, it's allowing me the affordability to just use what I've got, basically, which works for me nicely. Okay. So again, I'm just going to put a thumb notch just in the top here. Again, just eyeballing a little bit of a thumb notch in there. I'm just going to ink that for you to be able to see where that is. Okay. And then this just folds over there like so. Okay. So that's what we're doing. That's not quite gelling in there, so I'm going to trim a little bit of that off just so that fits in there a little bit nicer. Does that fit? That's better. That's better. So much better. I think this is the side that I put the double thingy on, which I didn't mean to. Maybe just not folded in the right place. So again, I should have glued this down before I punched it, but it's okay. It don't matter none. There we go. I'm going to pop that in there. Like so. And this time, instead of gluing what you would normally do, you would normally glue on those sides if you were putting it into a journal, because this is going to be wrapping around the page or the other bit of the pocket. I'm going to put the glue on the inside. Now, the other thing that this does is it allows you more space in your pocket because you're not using up space for gluing, because all the gluing is going to be on the back side of the pocket. Does that make sense? Okay, and then obviously if you were doing this normally, you'd make sure that that was the right way around before you popped it in. pop that in there, like so. Bring your bottom piece up, bring your sides over. There we go. And we have now got, ta-da, your little library doofer. What's it called? Library pocket. Library doofer, honestly. I just can't think sometimes. My brain just doesn't want to work. I am going to trim this down because I think with this now being a little bit thinner, a little bit narrower, I think it just looks a bit silly being that length. So I'm just going to trim that down a little bit. And I am also going to round my corners as well on the top there, like so. Loving that. So there we go. So in actual fact, that could even be, you could embellish this as well. And then that, it's a smaller version of that one, but that's effectively the same design. Okay, so I'm going to pop that now into my ideas journal. And I'm going to pop it on there. That's what I'm going to do. And the other thing with these as well, you could actually pop that on as a belly band if you wanted to. In fact, I think I will. You can just glue at the top and the bottom. You could put it in as a side tuck and just tuck it in that way. If it was on that page, the tuck could go in there. You could glue it on all 3 sides and use it as another top pocket. Lots of variation and things that you can do. I'm using it as a belly band. So I'm going to pop that there and utilise it as a belly band. There we go. Okay, and that I'm going to pop in the centre there. And that's idea number 3 for today. Okay, so I'm not going to do any more for today. Oh, can't get my pin in now. Come on, there we go. Okay, so just a little bit of a recap for today. What I have shown you, let me get me original book out. So we've got the gusset, I'm calling that the gusset pocket. Okay, so the gusset pocket, there we go. You can make it any size to fit whatever it is you want to go into the journal. Okay, so we've done that one. And then we did the very simple little side pocket. And again, I've just cut this one to go on that page rather than on the right hand page. So you cut them whichever way around you want to. The bit that's cut off on the side, you can cut that off as steeply, so quite steep here, or as short as you want to as well. So again, you can utilize that for whatever it is that you're putting together. And then the third piece I've done is the little library pocket, library card pocket, I think it's called. And then we've got the little library card pocket there. And again, different size. You can make them whatever size you want to. You can have them to fit the entire page. I originally did this because this was these were long cards that I had that I wasn't using, so I put them in the journal to add a little bit of interest, and I wanted something to fit that particular page, which is why I made that size. But as you can see, you can make them any size to fit whatever you want to fit. All right, so those are my 3 little ideas in my journal already, so I'm very pleased with that. I think that's a really good start for today. Hope you like what you've seen. I will also put the descriptions into the description in the video, so if you want to just catch up on that, it'll be there for you to have a look at. So go into when you go into the video and click the more bit, it'll all be in the description there if you want to see the measurements and bits and pieces that I've used and how to do it. All right. And we'll do a little bit more, I think, next Wednesday, if you're okay with that. And like I say, if there's anything that you have seen in any of the journals that I've done that you'd like to see me demonstrate sort of now, as opposed to waiting for me to work through my journals, let me know. I'll pull them out and I'll do those for you instead. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll look forward to seeing you for Quickfire Friday it'll be. Take care, everybody. Enjoy what's left of your week. Bye.